The Minnesota Vikings should take an edge rusher in this year's draft. There's a lot of good ones. Here are our top 5. As we inch ever closer to the 2023 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings, 1 week. I am looking forward to it. I'll be curious to see which direction the Minnesota Vikings go, but I do think that they should take a run at edge rusher. As of right now, Marcus Davenport on the team. Got the young guys still. We got Patrick Jones II, as well as DJ Wanham. Outside of that, a lot of question marks though when it comes to the edge rusher position. Obviously, Za'Darius Smith doesn't necessarily want to be here from the sounds of it. Who knows how that? We haven't heard a peep about that since early March. You have Danielle Hunter. His future still up in the air at the point of recording. We don't know what's happening with him. If he's going to get traded, an extension. He's not showing up to. He didn't show up to camp, obviously, or the voluntary workouts, obviously. So the edge rusher room could be pretty thin.
If we don't have Danielle Hunter, Za'Darius Smith going into next season, or if like we lose them, if they get traded, whatever happens, if we do not have them in this offseason, it would make it probably our biggest hole. Like even in front, we think rusher on the interior line is, but you lose both of them. Now you just need any rusher, and probably I would probably say you have to start with a guy who's specifically like that's their whole job is rushing the passer, or defensive end, or outside linebacker in our situation. So yeah, I mean that could be huge for us, and one of these players, depending on what we decide to do with Danielle Hunter and Za'Darius Smith, whether it's on draft day, my guess, it doesn't sound like it's moving anytime soon. So it's probably something that's going to happen after the draft. So we're not really going to know for sure until after the draft. But
either way, you can never have too many edge rushers. So
yeah, you can.
But anyway, with that being said, let's get into our top 5 of this draft.
Yeah, before doing that, though, I want to thank everybody for watching. I just want to give a reminder, next Thursday for the draft day, we're going live with the Purple and Skol Media, Purple and Gold for Days, us, Minnesota Sports Talks, Purple Pocket Podcast. Everybody, we're going to have some guests on there as well, so come in there. We're going to have a good time. There should be, and we have giveaways. I have some Justin Jefferson rookie card giveaways, a really nice one to give away. I don't have it on me right now, otherwise I'd show it. All we ask for you guys to do is to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications for our videos, so you can be up to date to make sure you join that with us. So
absolutely. Yep. Starting off at number 5, we did put Nolan Smith, edge rusher, out of the national champion Georgia Bulldogs. Now, when we both watched some tape and looked at some of the stats on these guys, and came together to make this list, there was a couple guys we could have put at 5, but Nolan Smith is one of the guys that has to be up there. I mean, obviously, when you look at how he played at Georgia, he kind of fits the mold of one of those stand-up outside linebacker pass rushers, which in a 3-4 defense is kind of what he would play if the Vikings took a shot at him. If we even can, who knows how? I mean, I've seen some drafts where he goes decently high in the first round, but at first glance of watching him, I really liked him. I thought he was very high, had a high motor, which I know is with a lot of the edges in this class. Gets after it, speed and quickness to get around the tackles, has enough power as well. He's a smart defender. He's solid in the run game. Checks in at 6'2", 238. I liked what I saw from Nolan Smith.
Yeah, obviously, he's a little bit smaller. I think some people would consider him as maybe even a potential like a strong side linebacker in a 4-3 or something like that. But obviously he's extremely fast. I might as well say right now he ran a 4.39, a 4.39, 6'2", 230, 230-ish, something like that. Yeah, 4.39 of 1.152 10-yard split, 41 and a half vertical, 10-yard or 10-foot 8-inch broad. That's insane. Nobody his size should ever, even though he's kind of small for the position, nobody his size should be running a sub 4.4, which is absolutely insane. And I'm pretty sure he even broke a record for it. Is the fastest edge rusher 40 time ever, I think. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But that's insane. That's insane. Yeah. Absolutely. So I mean, you add that with everything else, and plus you can see there's he'll drop into coverage and do all that kind of stuff too. Which especially if he's running, if like in our team, if you have a 3-4, you kind of need your outside linebackers to do that, because we've seen that with Danielle Hunter last year, which didn't work to perfection. But yeah, and so he's a stud, but he's a little raw. Like I think he's also somebody that kind of came up quite a bit because of his 40 time. More than his production, I would say a little bit, even though he's playing with the stacked defense. So it was hard for us to put him too high on here just based off of what he did at the combine.
Absolutely. Then based on what NFL Network had here, 85 athleticism score on their rankings, which is the number one for edges at the combine. So freak athlete. But yeah. So
yeah, and then
number
here
5.
I got some stats for you here as well. Like I said, 22, 6'2", 238, so almost 240, 439 speed. 83.8. He still had a fantastic PFF grade. Again, as far as straight pass rusher, 74.9, which is still really good. But it's not going to be elite levels like some of these other guys that we see. 82.4 run defense grade. 2 sacks, 5 hits, 12 hurries. I wish it would put a little bit more on here, like at least put tackles on here. I think he ended up with 40 tackles, I believe, something like around that. But yeah, I mean, definitely good athletic player.
Yeah. So checking at number 5 is Nolan Smith. Moving on to our number 4 guy, we have Tui Tuipulotu out of USC.
So this is the first. This is the probably the only real surprise in this, but this is our guy that we're putting in the top 5 that might not be on other people's top 5s list.
Right. But I definitely at first glance he was probably I think he was like the second edge rusher that I watched, kind of checking when I started looking through these guys, and I thought he looked fantastic. I really liked what I saw. Thought he had a great combination of size and speed. Relentless motor. He's quick from side to side. Quick getting around the tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Makes an impact in the run game. I think I saw him move inside a little bit as well, so he's got some positional flexibility there. Yeah, man. Everything I saw from him, I really, really liked.
Yeah, I mean, he was bullying some of those tackles and just looked strong and relentless. Like he was just going to the whistle type go plays, hitting when his hits. That was one thing. Like we were talking about Nick, is it Herrig before this?
Herbig, yeah.
Yeah, one thing that I saw between both of them, which a lot of people have them around the same area kind of in this draft, is obviously he's much bigger. But what I've seen with him is just the way he takes down the quarterback, where like Nick Herbig, which I do like him, but he kind of like, I don't know, he has to kind of whip him down, where Tully just kind of destroys quarterbacks. And that's a big reason why we like him as well, man. I mean, he's just, you can tell he's just that high motor guy that just plays to the whistle and has that strength. But he's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. I know you have this stuff here.
He didn't do anything at the combine, but
so that's the only thing. It's his athleticism. And I don't really know how they, I'm assuming 50s, they have a good idea of what his athletic score is without doing much at the combine. But that would be the one thing about him that people would have to worry about is he athletic enough?
I think he is. From what I saw, I think he's just fine.
Definitely has strength. What is his? Did he do anything at the combine?
Nope, nothing at the combine.
Nothing at the combine. It'd be interesting to see what his bench press was, because I did see a lot of you could just see that strength in him. But that's another thing about him. He's the youngest defensive end that we looked at. He's like 20 and a half, whatever PFF does their point age thing or whatever. So he's less than 21, 6'3", 266. So another big boy here. 82.1 overall grade with an 81 pass rush grade. 13 sacks, 6 hits, 37 hurries, and 2 batted balls. Fantastic. This guy's just a guy that he's one that you know what you're going to get. He's kind of like kind of reminds me of like, what's his name? What's that linebacker that we like from Iowa?
Jack Campbell.
Yeah, Jack Campbell, where it's like he has everything you want from a defensive end, but maybe he didn't pass the athletic score as much as people wanted to like see at the combine. But I'm taking a pro over any athletic person, I think, at the end of the day, most of the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, huge fan of Thule. If the Vikings took a shot at him in the second round, I would be, if we find a way to get into the second round, I would be absolutely thrilled. I think he would be a good addition to this defense. Moving on to number 3 on our list is Iowa's LUKAS Van Ness. Obviously, this is a guy who his name has been climbing up draft boards as of late. You see mock drafts him going in the top 15. And when you watch him, you can definitely understand why. I mean, 6'5", 272, just start off there. he is big, and I know we'll talk about it again later. I'm sure, but a 4.58 40 for a guy of his size is pretty fantastic. From what I watch, it doesn't always show up on his in his film when you're watching him. But you definitely see the flashes of speed and just that combination of size and power as well. 2 block punts this year as well, so the guy can play some special teams, which he'd probably be doing early on in his career. Yeah, I mean, I think he has a ton of potential. Obviously, you can't coach size, and you can't coach that 4.58 speed. So he's got everything. He's got everything that you want to see. Just might need a little bit of refinement, and I think that's what you're gonna. This guy's gonna go high because of size and the potential he has. If you can just make his game a little bit better than what it was in college. So.
Yeah, but he's explosive, man. When you do watch him, I mean, he comes in on the quarterback like a missile. Like maybe you're not seeing it every single play, but when he comes in, it's fast and explosive, and he destroys whoever he hits. And another thing with him is he's a guy who kind of was playing outside and inside in college, which is from a Vikings standpoint. It's like I want any sort of combo rusher we can get, and he was blowing people up through in the middle and the outside. So I really do like that out of him. But yeah, 4.58 for his size is absolutely crazy. 1.64 10-yard, 31 vert, broad, 9.10, 7.02 3 cone, 4.32 shuttle, a lot of that stuff. I'm like, I don't even really know for sure what's good in that. Bench press 17. No, I honestly wish I would have seen a little bit higher on that bench press out of him, to be honest. But yeah, he's a guy. I mean, he is someone who is kind of going up a little bit because of his size mixed with his athleticism. But I do think I love how the way he explodes on that line. So I do like him there.
Yeah.
At number 3.
Got any PFF stuff for him?
Oh, yeah. So for PFF, see where they got him up here. He had an 80.2 PFF grade, 74.3 pass rush grade, which isn't the best. Aim is not bad, but compared to some of these other guys, 80.9 run defense grade.
Well, it's good that he can do both, seeing that 80.9 run defense grade. Right. A lot of times, like that's kind of where you got to start.
And he was playing interior sometimes, so you're not going to get as many sacks from that spot as well.
Right. And if you look at his grade in the true pass rush set as well,
79.4,
which is a lot better.
Yeah, 31 hurries
or 9 sacks.
So this guy's a big boy with some athleticism. So it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
I would say, that one's a little closer to the other guys. All these guys, there's really only one player that I could for sure say, like, all right, in my opinion, he's by far the number one out of this group, which it is our number one. So
absolutely. Moving on to our number 2 before we get to the number 1 is Tyree Wilson, the edge rusher out of Texas Tech. So first thing when you see this guy, you're like, big man.
How's he even a defensive end when I looked at him?
6'6", 271, which is absolutely insane. And he didn't run a 40, but just kind of watching him on the tape and the highlights that I watched and stuff, he definitely has the speed and he has the power as well. I thought he sheds tackles well. Another high motor guy. From what I watched, nobody can handle this guy. Tackles could not stop him. Yeah, man, it's just unique blend of size and power. I just thought it was everything that you want to see in an edge rusher to get after the quarterback. So I really liked what I saw from him.
Definitely, man. It's just the size thing is crazy. I always hate when they don't run their 40s. So I just like to know. It's good sometimes, but sometimes I just like to know how freak of the athlete is this dude, because he looks like a defensive. He was looking like a defensive tackle on the edge position when I was watching him. Just a monster. And like you said, I mean, he's a guy that already is pretty damn good in college, but he has that ability to be really good going forward in the NFL because of his size and his length. I don't know if you bring up his combine stuff, it'll be interesting to see what his arm length is, because I know his arms are super long. He just is going to have a huge advantage because of that. It's kind of like Danielle Hunter. Like Danielle Hunter's arms are just long as hell.
35 5/8 inch arms, 9 5/8.
So it's going to be hard to compete against him just because of his length and stuff. And that's besides production and besides all that stuff. So you add that in with all of that, and you can see why he has so much potential and why he's going high on a lot of draft boards.
Absolutely, man.
But I'll bring up this. Oh, wait, did I already go through? No, I didn't go through this. 75.1 PFF grade, 79.9 rush, 88.6 true pass set pass rush grade, 72.8 run defense, 8 sacks, 10 hits, 32 Harry's, 0 batted balls. So yeah, I mean, this guy has stud, and he's one of those people who have a high ceiling because of his length and everything else. So he has room to grow, and that's the reason why I think he's so high on people's boards. But
Absolutely. And then, of course, we move on to our number one guy. No surprise, Will Anderson out of Alabama. What I said about Tyree Wilson, you say again about him. He's not as big, obviously, as Tyree Wilson was, but he has just a unique blend. He's 6'3", 253. He's fast. He's powerful. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Consensus top three guy there. Like, I don't really think you need to say much about him. If you pay attention to draft stuff in college football, you see his name pop up all the time in top 3, top 5 picks.
He probably was the number 1 overall player for most of the year coming into this offseason as far as going. I mean, who knows? Like, quarterbacks are always going to get picked first, but he was considered the number 1 prospect for a while.
Yeah.
And the big thing that shows up to me is just his technique and the moves he has. You can just see that's from everyone else that we looked at. You could see he was just above them in that, like his spin moves and swim moves. Like, he has all that stuff in his bag. And that's the kind of stuff that is much more important than speed and athleticism. Because some people can never really learn how to do that to that. It's like route running or something, so it's something that, I think he's far and above everybody else that we've talked about, even if he's not the biggest one, but still pretty good size, and not the fastest, but pretty solid speed.
Right. And it's just, and when you need him just to go one-on-one against tackle, he's got like I said, that unique blend of speed and power just to push right through
speed and power and
get to the quarterback, and just motor. The guy doesn't stop moving.
Yeah, he's got it now. He's got it now.
I mean, yeah, 6'3", 6'3 and a half, 253, 33 7/8 inch arms, and then 9 7/8 inch hands. Then he ran a 4.6 40 as well, so he's got the speed there.
Yeah, I always just love that he knows that he's going to be one of the top players in this entire draft, and he runs the 40. It's like, probably shouldn't really mean that much, but for me, for some reason, he's just like, no, I'll still run it.
And then if you look down here,
it could hurt me more than help.
17 and a half sacks.
Yeah, I'll bring up his
nuts. I mean, was this over his career? I guess I didn't read that.
No, it's I don't think that's what he had this year. I'm not sure if this was had this year, but it's up there. We're about to find out.
Absolutely nuts.
So yeah, obviously 83.6, 89.8 last year, 85.8
pass rush and run,
88.1 there. Yeah, 86.7 run defense,
14
sacks, 9 hits, 42 hurries, 13 games played. I mean, this guy's a stud. Shows in the film, shows in the stats, shows in his athleticism. He's it, man. He's it. Someone's gonna get him. All these quarterbacks. If 4 quarterbacks get taken, then
right. I mean, and it'll be interesting because, like, if you're Houston at 2, right, and let's say you want Bryce Young is your far and away top guy, and you don't believe in any of the other ones. If Carolina takes Bryce Young at 1, I mean, I understand the allure of trading back, but also sticking and picking at 2 and getting Will Anderson to add to your defense. Plus, you have another pick later on where if you wanted to get a Hendon Hooker, you could, or if you wanted to trade back, get a Hendon Hooker in the second round, maybe end of the first round, you could. Or if you're the Cardinals, like, I understand, like, the Cardinals, if it goes quarterback 1-2, they're gonna, there's gonna be a lot of options.
They're gonna love that.
And I understand getting all the picks you could get, like probably 2 to 3 first rounders plus a player, but passing on a Will Anderson's got to be tough.
Yeah, so, I can't. He's one of those for sure prospects,
right? He's not going to make it past 5, because if he does make it past 5, that means the Lions are going to get him, and having to go against Hutchinson and Will Anderson every year. I mean, we have the tackles to do it, but going against, if you move him inside, that's where I worry. But yeah, man. Again, it's a pretty loaded edge rusher class. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I think. I mean, probably maybe 2 to 3 guys in the first round, but there's a lot of guys you'll get later on as well. And I do believe the Vikings do need to make a jump into this into this pool and get somebody, especially if, like we kind of said in the intro, not knowing the futures of Danielle Hunter and Za'Darius Smith. I just feel like you got to add somebody there.
yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to happen for us. I mean, less than a week away now. When this video is out, but it's gonna be crazy to see what route we go, because now it's just like, now that we bring that up, it's like, we kind of do need a defensive end, but we just don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
It's just we don't know. It's gonna be.
Right.
I can't wait.
I mean, because Patrick Jones is good there, but I mean, DJ Wanham's kind of been, okay, his career.
Yeah,
so
it's not. If we lose Danielle
we
Hunter
need
and Za'Darius Smith, we're taking a huge step back. I know we got what's his face from
Marcus Davenport,
Davenport or whatever, but still, I'm not feeling great with that. I'd like to have. That's why it's hard for me to get rid of Danielle Hunter, because I do think that makes it a huge hole now is in the defensive end, outside linebacker area.
Absolutely. But anyway, that is our top 5 edge rushers in this class. We want to know your guys' top 5. Drop those down in the comments section, and we'll see you guys next time on the GG Sports Podcast.
Skol Vikes.